let's get you on the board.
Yeah,
Right?
totally. No, they don't like me over there.
No?
You're
Some of
also
the
not in
CrossFit things. No,
cahoots?
I
Really?
don't.
Oh,
Weird.
man.
No, I think I'm too controversial. Like I'm
Mm.
not. I'm like a cut and clean like athlete that's just there, like all about CrossFit. Like I'm not in love with CrossFit. I mean, I love the old idea of CrossFit, but I don't know. It's like I just do think I'm kind of a controversial figure, like, in the CrossFit space. I think that there's, like, a lot of like, I'm not talking about, like, my personal fans and everything, I'm talking about, like, in HQ. There's always been, like, kinda some weird vibes and stuff, especially, like, when I've shown up at games, so I feel like I'm not someone who would, like, ever sit on the board. So it's just like one of those things where, again, it doesn't feel unbiased when it comes to CrossFit.
I will say this, I think they're trying to make a concerted effort to make up for the sins of the past around how they've handled what you're describing here, which is criticism or someone that doesn't fit within the mold, like the old school boys club. Or like I was talking to Don Fall not that long ago, a few days ago, and we talked about this a little. And he said, we're trying to make inroads with some of the groups that historically have not said great things about us. And he specifically named Morning Chalk Up and the PFAA as two groups that they've had kind of contentious relationship. And he didn't mean it like they don't like them. It's just like it hasn't always been where they're holding hands and singing Kumbaya. You know what I mean? And so they're trying to fix that. So maybe there's coming a time where they're going to say, hey, let's call Danny Spiegel and let's make
Yeah.
up.
They call when they wanna promote something for sure. So, there's that. But
Yeah.
we'll see. Again, it's just like there's so much change in leadership. Like, it just is I feel like the athletes, at least me, and I'm not even someone who's, like, really, really involved with, like, communications within people in HQ. It just feels like whiplash. Like, someone I never know who's doing what, like, within HQ, and that's just what it just feels like as I hear it from other people as well. It's just kind of like through the grapevine, you find out that there's like a leadership change. And I just think like just more consistency will just bring about relationships. You need consistency. So, you've got all these changes and then there's contention between, like you said, these groups. But, if you establish like a relationship for like 10 years, comes less of that. But if you got someone new to deal with every single year, it becomes a little harder to create a trusting relationship and a good
Yeah.
partnership, one where you can be honest with each other.
Yeah, April Carlson came in the comments said, "Are you happy with the work that PFAA is doing?" Which is kind of to your point, like that's typically like an athletes union would be the group that's doing what you're describing, which is communicating to the event
Yeah,
organizers and then communicate back to the athletes. Are you happy with what they're doing? Are you part of that group at all?
I am. I go to their meetings. Like I'll be at their meeting that they're having at games after everything is done, like on Monday. I think Britt and Pat, yeah, those are the two that I've really had a lot of interactions with. To clarify, Brent Fikowski and Patrick Velder.
What? Who?
What? What? What?
Someone's over here like, "Who?" Yeah.
Mm.
I always forget sometimes I need to say, like, last names, but
Right.
anyway, so those are the 2 that I've communicated most with and heard from the most. I know that there's other members, but I think that they work tirelessly to make changes into a sport that blocks them all the time, and they definitely don't get the recognition that they deserve. There are things that happen all the time that media channels say, like, "Look what CrossFit has done. Look at these changes." And I personally know that Britt and Pat are sitting there like, "Okay, well, like, we spent 6 months arguing with you guys to make these changes, and they don't even recognize that it was because of them." And so they have a very thankless job. And I think they are doing amazing work, but it's kind of like yes, it's kind of like a presidency. There's only so much they can do if Congress doesn't say yes. So it's like it's they can fight all they want, but until CrossFit gives the green light, what are they going to do? But I think that the work that they are doing and trying to do is very admirable. Definitely a big supporter of it. I My only thing is they do try this is why I can't be on it because, like, they wanna keep the peace, where I would just come in and be like, "Well, this sucks."
I'm about to
Right.
Which is
pull
why
up
I'm
the
not part of
study
this.
of
they're very good at, like, what they're doing, and I think that they do a lot of good for the space and for the professional side while still trying to maintain, like, a voice for the community, and again, I think they don't get enough recognition for all the work that they've done. Like, even when it comes to just sitting and writing these emails and documents to CrossFit, they spend hours of their time doing this stuff, and then it just never gets recognized, so
Right.
I'm here recognizing them and, like, all the stuff that they do, but again, like I said, there's only so much they can do. So, like, they just get green lights all the time. They gotta like, they fight tooth and nail for every single thing that they accomplish.
If I were going to critique them, it's that they don't toot their own horn enough. I
Yeah,
message,
and they admit that.
yeah, well,
They're too nice.
Mhm.
yeah, I messaged them not that long ago. They posted a video and it was great, and so I just shot a message, "Hey, this is really good. After the games, I'd like to connect and learn more about what you guys are doing because I honestly don't know. Like I'm to your point, like I don't see the changes they're making, and it's not to say they're not trying to make changes. I just haven't seen them because they're not advertising
Yeah.
them, and CrossFit's not going to shout it out. So I'm going to try to get more involved and learn what they're doing. So maybe we can help at least talk about the issues that are important to athletes. You know,
Yeah. It's kind of it's just like one of those things where they're doing so much work, they also can't sit around and make sure that everyone on social media understands, like, what they're doing. They can't hire a social media person, and I don't know, after the whole debacle in 2020 where there was talks of, like, the athletes separating from CrossFit and all this kind of stuff, a lot of athletes, like, showed that they are gonna be called CrossFit Games athletes no matter what, and so, like, before breaking away from the sport, and it's became a very, like, almost selfish thing, and so even if, like, the PFA was like, "Okay, well, every single athlete who signs up for the open just contribute $5 a month to the PFAA so we can, like, hire people and we can actually try to make some changes on this organization's end," you'd probably be shocked at how many people are like, "Well, I have no interest in this," even though it's for their benefit. So it's the same thing. It's like until the athletes actually decide and, like, everybody else decides that they actually want changes to be made, or they actually want to help the changes be made, like, there's only so much that they can do. It's a very small organization that is doing, like, the best that they can. And so they're actually in it to make changes, and they're not in it to make sure everyone knows that they're doing the work, or else they would just be all over social media. But people like Brent and Pat are actually there to actually make real change, not give themselves clout because they're making change.
Right. Not
who's,
to mention the fact that they're also training full time and trying
yeah,
to
Training
make
full time, yeah,
career and like
with families and still finding
families. Yeah.
yeah, still finding it in their means to
the
everybody else out.
the the worst part of that, they're both polite Canadians, so they're not
Yeah,
going to
they're
yell at
so
anybody.
fucking nice.
Yeah,
Ugh, so nice.
they're not going to yell at anybody. We need to get
Mm-mm.
like a New Yorker in there or something. Come on.
See, that is yes. I think we do need someone with, like, just some anger issues or something to, like, be in there.
Right.
Because
I'll
the
go.
Key and
I'll
Peele
go.
skit
Go.
where you just got, like, the angry person, like, says all your real thoughts, that's what they need.
Mm.
Yeah.
Uh, oh yeah, that was a Key and Peele sketch. It was
Mm,
Obama's translator. That's the
yeah,
best sketch ever.
it's so good. That's what they need. Brent and Pat both need one just to, like, let it rip. I would love to hear their inner thoughts sometimes.
Be
That would
Whenever
hilarious.